The global financial system has just crossed a point of no return as the markets head into this critical Friday weekly close. And you need to understand that the $210 silver warning I'm issuing today is the only thing standing between you and a total wipeout of your generational wealth. You have been watching the red candles on your screen all morning thinking that silver is crashing, but the data I've uncovered from the London vaults proves that this is a coordinated trap designed to scare you out of your physical position before the exit doors are welded shut for good. While the mainstream media in the United States keeps you distracted with manipulated jobs, data, and political noise, the physical reality is that the LBMA has officially gone dark because they no longer have the silver required to settle the record-breaking delivery demands hitting the system today. I want you to look directly at the registered inventory reports appearing on your screen because they are screaming a warning that 99% of the population is too blind to see. The Western vaults have hit stage 0, meaning there's no metal left for the retail investor. You are being told that the dollar is strong and the system is stable, but if that were true, why are the world's largest bullion dealers extending delivery times to 16 weeks while the paper price continues to fall? This is the great deception in its final, most desperate act, where the banking cartels are using every high-frequency algorithm in their arsenal to smash the price just long enough to secure the last remaining physical ounces for themselves. Have you noticed the massive disconnect between the digital price on your phone and the actual cost of a 100-ounce bar at your local dealer? That gap is the physical market telling you that the paper system has already defaulted. The Friday close is being used as a smokescreen to prevent a nationwide bank run on hard assets. You are part of a massive psychological operation, where the powers that be want you to feel poor so that you surrender your silver to the very banks that are currently insolvent due to their toxic short positions. The $210 target is not a speculative guess. It is a mathematical certainty once the force majeure protocols are activated, and the true price discovery moves from New York to the physical markets of the East. I have spent the last 12 hours dissecting the internal settlement data that leaked after the CME reopening, and the evidence of a global silver raid is irrefutable, as India and China have reportedly drained 100 million ounces in the last 72 hours alone. While you were sleeping, the monetary power of the world was being transferred to the East, leaving the U.S. Treasury holding nothing but empty vaults and a $37 trillion debt bomb that is currently in its final countdown to detonation. This is a national security crisis disguised as a market correction. And the Federal Reserve knows that if you realize the truth about the silver shortage today, the U.S. dollar will lose its reserve status by Monday morning. I want you to ignore the official narratives and focus on the cold, hard data. The vaults are empty, the exchanges are failing, and the global silver supply has been effectively shut down to the general public to protect the institutional elite. You are witnessing the final gasps of a dying fiat regime that has lost control of the physical world and is now trying to maintain order through digital manipulation and psychological warfare. The great deception is the belief that things will ever go back to normal, when in reality, the world has already moved on to a system where physical possession is the only law that counts for wealth preservation. Did you ever stop to think why the largest silver dealers in America have suddenly gone offline or increased premiums to 40% over spot while the price is supposedly crashing? It's because the dealers can no longer source wholesale metal from the mints, and they are trying to discourage you from buying the very asset that will protect you during the coming hyperinflationary reset. You are being lulled into a false sense of security while JP Morgan and the Federal Reserve are using this Friday close to manage a controlled demolition of the middle class's purchasing power. I am monitoring the arbitrage between New York and Shanghai for you every single hour, and the premium in the East has now crossed the double-digit threshold, creating a vacuum that is sucking the lifeblood out of the Western financial system. This drain of your national wealth is being ignored by the U.S. Treasury because it reveals the total failure of their monetary policy and the end of the U.S. dollar's global dominance. When the vaults in London are finally and officially empty, the price discovery will move permanently to the East, and you will be left holding worthless digital paper in a world that only accepts physical reality. You must act before the ask price disappears from your screen entirely, because once the force majeure is declared, you will not be able to acquire physical silver for any amount of paper currency. This is your final warning to stop listening to the mainstream media's strong dollar narrative and start looking at the cold data of the physical vault exhaustion that I am showing you today. The system is breaking in front of your eyes, and the Friday trap is the final trigger that has officially sprung the trap on the banking elite and everyone who chose to stay in paper. I want you to ask yourself, why are the central banks of the world hoarding gold and silver at the fastest pace since the 1970s while telling you to keep your money in a savings account? It's because they know that the currency is dying, and they are building their own lifeboats while they lead you to the slaughterhouse of inflation. You are being tricked into staying in a paper prison while the elite move their personal wealth into deep storage, out of the reach of the very glitches and defaults they are preparing for the public. The $210 shock is just the beginning of a cycle that will see silver revalued as the primary global monetary asset, once again as the unbacked fiat experiment ends in total and violent failure. I will continue to track every ounce that leaves the vaults for you to keep you one step ahead of the corrupt banking cartels that want to see you broke and dependent on their digital CBDC system. The Stage 0 inventory event is the final confirmation that the silver trap has finally sprung shut, and the physical reality of scarcity is now the only story that matters for your financial future. Everything you see on the news today regarding the market weakness is a carefully choreographed distraction from the fact that the foundations of the Western monetary order are rotting away from the inside out. Silver is the Achilles heel of the central banking cartel because it represents a finite physical truth that cannot be printed, hacked, or manipulated to settle the debts of a bankrupt financial order. The Stage 0 event is the final signal that the paper wall has crumbled, and the banks are simply trying to clean up the crime scene before you realize the vaults are empty. I want you to stay alert, stay physical, and remember that in a world of digital chaos, the only thing that matters is what you can hold in your own hand and protect with your own strength. The force majeure is no longer a legal theory. It is a mathematical inevitability that will reset the global financial clock and return the world to a system where physical backing is all that matters for trade. I am here to bring you the truth that the mainstream media is afraid to report, so you can stay one step ahead of the banking cartels and the news cycles that are designed to keep you poor. The $210 target is the inevitable conclusion of a system that has run out of time and metal to settle its debts in an honest manner, making a vertical price reset the only way to survive the collapse. Every time the banks print a new billion-dollar short contract to smash the price on a Friday close, they only add fuel to the eventual short squeeze that will propel silver into triple digits. You are witnessing the final gasps of a dying monetary regime trying to maintain order through psychological warfare and artificial price suppression that is no longer working in the physical world. The Great Deception relies on your patience and your fear. But while you wait for a better entry price, the physical reality is that the exit doors have been welded shut for the average American investor. I am monitoring the COMEX registered stocks for you every hour, and the data shows a massive, unprecedented internal transfer of metal intended to hide the total drain from your eyes. We are looking at a default in slow motion, where the plumbing of the financial system is clogged, and the only solution for the elite is to trick you into staying in paper until it's too late. Everything in the news right now is a distraction from the fact that the monetary order is rotting from the inside out, and the Stage 0 event is the final signal of the endgame for the US dollar. Silver is the only asset that they cannot print, pack, or delete by a government decree, making it your ultimate tool for financial rebellion against a system that wants to control your every move. The banking establishment is terrified of you because they know that once you realize the truth about the silver shortage, there will be a global stampede that will destroy their paper monopoly. Your only defense is to remove your wealth from the digital matrix before the banking cartels lock the door on physical delivery and the force majeure becomes the only law of the land. Stage 0 is real, and the exposed truth is that the world's largest banks have already been bailed in through the strategic manipulation of precious metal prices at your direct expense. They are hoping you will be too busy reading about political scandals to notice that they are taking the last of the physical bullion for themselves while you hold the bag of worthless digital zeros. Don't let the red candles on your trading app scare you away from the only asset that will survive the coming reset, because the banks are now long and waiting for the supply shutdown to trigger the moonshot. I am here to bring you the raw data that the establishment wants to suppress, so subscribe and stay tuned as we track the final collapse of the paper system together in real time. The $210 shock is coming, the dealers are empty, and the time to protect your family's future is right now before the deception is revealed to the world and the stampede begins. I want you to understand that the supply shutdown at major U.S. dealers is the final smoke signal from a burning building, and the Friday smash is the elite trying to keep you from running for the exits. You're being given one last chance to exit the fiat trap and enter the safety of hard assets before the ask price for silver disappears from the screens entirely. Don't wait for a confirmed signal from the people who lied to you about inflation being transitory, because by then the price will be out of your reach and the vaults will be empty. Stay strong, stay physical, and do not let the Friday close distraction or the fake paper crash narrative steal your generational wealth during the greatest vertical price reset in the history of human civilization. The endgame has officially begun, and the Stage 0 inventory collapse is the first domino in a sequence that cannot be stopped by any central bank or any government decree. Prepare your family, secure your position, and hold your mettle with a grip of iron because the financial war has entered its most dangerous phase, and the reset is officially here. Position yourself on the right side of history and do not fall for the final trap as the establishment attempts to manage the greatest wealth transfer in human history at your expense. The stage zero warning is the final signal. The exchanges are dark, and the reset is officially here. Be ready, be physical, and stay strong in the face of the coming chaos. I am here to bring you the truth that the mainstream media is afraid to report, so you can stay one step ahead of the banking cartels and protect what is yours. End of transmission for today.